I really don't know if any other YouTuber out there talking about sports betting is going to do what I'm about to do for you in this video. I need you to lock it in for me for about 3 minutes. That's all I need of your time. I've placed over 4,000 wagers this year on OddsJam, and we're going to take a look at what markets I've been profitable and not profitable in. It's going to help you out so much whether you're using OddsJam right now or considering using OddsJam. It is going to be very beneficial, so let's dive in and check it out. This is by far the most information I've ever put out in a video. It is going to be so beneficial to you whether you're using OddsJam or thinking about using OddsJam. I've placed over 4,000 bets this year with OddsJam, and we're going to peel back the curtain and take a look at what markets I'm profitable at and the markets that I'm not so profitable at. It is going to be well worth your time. So 3 minutes, that's all I need. Let's go. All right, guys, welcome to the video. If this is your first time, my name is Billy C. If you've been to the channel before, welcome back. Got to go over a few things before we hop into this juicy details, right? So first thing, link in the description, OddsJam, 1 week free trial. If you want to try out OddsJam, highly recommend it. It's in the description. Try it out, see what you like, see what you don't like. Also in this video, we're going to be going over my personal bet tracker. Now, I use OddsJam's bet tracker. It's a great tool. It's free to use. I also have my own personal bet tracker and a link in the description if you want a copy for yourself. Absolutely free. I just want to help you out. And lastly, if you're thinking about using OddsJam, you want to give it a shot, don't pay full price. Use my promo code Billy20. It'll save you 20% off every month that you use the product for whatever plan or whatever tools that you want to use. Billy20, it helps me out a lot because then it tells OddsJam, hey, we're watching Billy's content because I'm telling you to go there. So it's a huge help for me and I really appreciate it. Now, let's get into this. So in my most recent video, I talked about how I was going to create an odds breakdown tab, and I was going to pull all my data this year from all my bets and take a look at what odds I were doing well at, maybe what odds I weren't doing well at, right? Because as you already know, here on this EV breakdown tab, I have all my bets since I signed back up of October of last year on Halloween. I signed back up with OddsJam, and this shows you the EV percentage. But now we're going to look at the odds and which odds I'm doing well at. And guys, I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second. Leave a comment if somebody else is going through this level of detail on YouTube. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I'm actually showing you as the guinea pig, like what I'm doing, how well or how not well I've been doing. So here's where we start to look at things, right? So the first thing is these goes by all odds. Now, when I talk about the odds, this isn't the no vig fair odds, guys. This is the odds that I got the bet at, right? So when I place the wager, what odds did I get that wager at? So that's where these bets fall into. So, I mean, we're going all the way up from plus 250 and we're going all the way down to minus 250, right? And so as you can see, I'll kind of go slow here. I'm not going to go through each one, but, you know, really from the plus 180s up to the plus 250s, I don't have a ton of volume, right? It gets a little bit more down here below. So I'm not going to sweat this plus 240 to plus 250 bet. I'm 0-11, right? They're long shot odds. But there's not enough data for me to say, well, I should never bet that category again. I need some more time to really get this down. But what is encouraging to me is basically from the plus, let's just say 120s all the way up to, you know, plus 220s. I mean, this is a pretty nice run right here. My sum total right here is I made $4,600. I'm sorry, let me go up one more. $4,500 I've made in this category. So something that it tells me right now is like plus 190s, the plus 120s. I'm going to start betting those more. If you're familiar with my old videos, I would tell you that I wouldn't go above plus 130, plus 135 on the no vig fair odds. I'm going to start going after these a lot more because I've seen some success. And if you've been using OddsJam for, I'd say at least 2 months or more, I think it is well worth your time to export all the bets that you have and kind of dive into this for an caught my attention because I obviously don't have any bets really other than minus 240 to minus 250. I have about 3 wagers and only 5 wagers, 3 wagers. So really once we get to like minus 150 and above, right, to plus 140s is right here. This plus 100 to plus 109. I've lost $5,100. And so I did a deeper dive into figuring out where exactly did I go wrong in this particular category, because that's 721 bets. That's a lot of bets. And I wanted to find out what happened. And here's what I found out. Now, one thing I want to let you guys know is all these bets that we're going over, these are all straight wagers, right? They're not prize picks, they're not underdog fantasy, and they're not parlays. These are all straight wagers. So when I dove into the plus 100 to plus 109 range, there was really one particular area that really stood out to me, and that is first half total points. Now, when I say first half total points, this is only in regards to the NBA and college basketball. Nothing to do with the NFL or college football, just the NBA and college basketball. Now, 58 bets, in my opinion, is a small sample size, probably really too small. But as you can see, I've lost $2,000 on just this area alone, right? Money line plays, I'm not losing my mind. 32 bets, that's pretty small. Player prop bets is a concerning one, right? 177 bets, that's a decent amount of data. I'm down $1,200. And then the interesting thing that I even looked at with this first half total points, I looked at the EV percentage, and anything that was 1.5% EV or higher, so 2% or 3% EV, I lost $2,100 on this first half total points. But under 1.5%, I made $165. So I think if nothing else, when basketball season in the fall rolls around for me, I am still probably going to bet this area, but I am going to, whatever I thought I was going to bet on this, I am going to chop it in half, because I would like to get a little bit more bets in to get a little bit more data, especially in this range. But this is a huge red flag for me. And we'll talk about player props a little bit later, because I want you guys to stick around to the end, because I want to show you, you're really going to want to see the areas this year where I've excelled in, and I'm really going to focus on, and the other areas, the other markets that I have not. And I'm thinking about maybe retiring those markets. And I think it's going to be very important. So that's going to be at the end. You're going to want to stick around to see that. But basically, first half total points in NBA and college basketball, no bueno. So for any of you out there that maybe see my plus 120 to plus 129 range, and you're like, well, Billy, you've won 192, but you've lost 220. How are you up $3,000? If you have those questions, guys, if that doesn't make sense to you, we need to take a step back, and you need to kind of understand that the odds that we're getting and the win probability that we have to hit to break even is going to be less than 50%. So we don't have to have a 500 record here as far as win-loss in order to be profitable when you're betting the plus 110s, plus 120s, plus 130s, etc. Right? So if you have questions about that, feel free to leave a comment or reach out to me on Twitter. But that's kind of how, when we're talking about the underdogs, you don't have to have a winning record. That's why you can have a losing record and still be profitable. It's the flip side, though, on the favorite bets. So it's the exact same way on these minus 140 to minus 149s. Most likely, I'm 11 games over 500, but I've still lost money. And that's most likely probably because of some of the bets that I made. Maybe I was limited and I couldn't put as much as I wanted to. So those, maybe I had a couple bets that were, $50 bets that hit, but then I had a couple bets that were maybe $150 or $200 that lost. And that's why we're showing a losing record, because typically if you have 11 more wins than losses and a minus 140, that's not too shabby. You should be okay. But that's why in this case, I have a losing record. But as you can see, guys, the bulk of my activity comes between that plus 120 to minus 120 range. And, if I know I'm cherry picking here, but if you just forget about the plus 109s, you could see from minus 101 to minus 139, I've made $9,100, and I've placed almost 1,400 bets in that range. So if that gives you any type of confidence, I hope it does, that if you see something on there, it's going to be very well worth your time to bet it on OddsJam. Now, we are going to look at the 2023 bets, my bets in the particular markets, right? We're focused on the odds right now. We're going to look at the particular markets, and this is going to be the most insightful and valuable information in this video for you. So in a lot of my videos, I talk about how, in my opinion, my gut feeling, I feel that Pinnacle is the sharpest when it comes to the main line plays, right? The money lines, the spreads, the over-unders. And I'm going to change my tune a little bit on a few different things. And here is the first category we're going to look at. So far in 2023, on money line plays, I have placed 362 bets. I have made $6,300. What do I mean by money line? If you see the positive EV tool and it says money line on tennis, UFC, baseball, NBA, college football, anything, this is what it all entails right here. Pinnacle is very sharp on money line plays. So I am going to ride with them for the rest of this year on money lines for sure. Next up, spreads. I placed 652 wagers on spreads. I've made just over $2,000. What do I mean by spreads? These are all total games, guys. So Red Sox -1.5, Lakers +3.5. This does not take into account first quarter spreads or first half spreads or first period spreads, right? Manchester United -1.5 goals. Capitals -1.5 goals, right? So this is what we talk about with spreads. So I've placed even more wagers and I'm still profitable. Less profitable than moneyline plays, but spread plays. Also, this includes not just the main spread lines, but also alternate spread lines. So maybe the main line for the Red Sox Yankees is Red Sox -1.5. This also includes if I bet Red Sox -2.5. Next up is totals. Over-unders. I've placed almost 1,400 wagers on over-unders. I've made $3,700. Same thing as spreads. This is for the game, right? Over-under 8.5 runs, Red Sox, Yankees. Over-under on the Lakers, Nuggets game. Or maybe it's Lakers, Nuggets over-under 213.5, and we bet the alternate line of 214.5. That takes it into account. UFC fights over under 4.5 rounds. Maybe it's a tennis match, Djokovic versus Nadal, over under 21.5 total games. That is all encompassed into this totals amount, right? So it was a gut feeling I had. I did not know the data until I looked at it, but Pinnacle is very sharp on money line spreads and over unders. So if you're using the positive EV tool, even if it's an alternate total or alternate spread, you got to get after these plays because as you can see here, I've placed 2,400 wagers in these three categories. I've made $12,000. Enough said. Now, interestingly enough, we talk about first half, right? I told you how terrible I was on first half total points in the NBA and college basketball. But if you take in all first half bets, so that's like the first 5 innings on the Red Sox Yankees game, or maybe the first period, Penguins versus Capitals, right? This is, I've lost $382 off of 544 wagers. But if I just didn't bet any of the NBA or college basketball first half plays, I made $2,400 based off of 345 bets. So you can kind of see how when you start to get into the numbers, the more bets you have, you can really drive and get into this data. Also, guys, if you want a copy of all my bets of 2023, just leave a comment or reach out to me on Twitter and I'll send it to you for free. Okay. If you want to, maybe you only been using OddsJam for a month and you're not really sure, I've been doing this all year long. I'll be happy to share that with you guys so that you can use this. But I think there's just so much value that can be had after a couple of months using OddsJam. You can really dig into the numbers and find out where you're struggling at or maybe where you're excelling at. The one area that I am going to retire right now from betting on OddsJam is player props. I've placed 932 bets on player props. I've lost $2,300. Now, this does not include prize pick plays. This does not include underdog fantasy, right? I need to dive into this category to find out. It's mostly going to be NBA and baseball for player props because naturally that's where the most of the games are, right? So maybe I did well on the NFL. I haven't dove into those numbers yet. I need to figure out what's going on. But right now, I'm smashing that pause button on player prop bets. I am not going to bet them because I feel like close to 1,000 bets on player props, that's a large enough sample size for me to say, hey, Billy, maybe you shouldn't bet this anymore. And so I'm actually okay with it because outside of Fliff, Caesars, and WinBet, I am severely limited on player prop betting on a lot of sports books. So it works out well for me. So moving forward for the rest of this year, I'm going to focus on the money line spreads and over-under plays, right? I'm going to still bet those first half plays, especially first half baseball runs, total over-under or maybe a spread. I'm going to do that for sure. But player props, guys, I'm going to hit the pause button and I'm going to do some deeper research into maybe is it pitcher strikeouts that I'm struggling on, or is it, points, rebounds, and assists in the NBA? But I'm going to do a little deeper dive. And maybe, like I said, maybe I'm killing it on like hockey player shots on goal category, but I need to figure that out. But if I was you, if you want to bet player props or you like to bet player props, take a look at your numbers with OddsJam first. And then second, my recommendation is whatever you want to bet, I'd cut your bet size in half because I'm not going to touch this anymore. It's just not worth it to me. So guys, that's my 2023 bets so far. Over 4,000 bets placed. That's just my journey, my story. I would love to hear from you guys. Maybe you're doing really well in player prop bets. Maybe you're not doing so well on money lines and spreads. Let me know, leave a comment or hit me up on Twitter, but I want to hear from you guys to find out what's working for you, what's not working for you. If you have questions, I'll hop on a Zoom call with you. Hit me up on Twitter. Leave a comment. I'm more than happy to help you out, guys. If you like this type of content, please smash that thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any videos that I drop. This is the type of detail that I want to provide you guys. This is what I'm getting into. I don't speak in generalities and just say, well, this is a good bet and I'm just going to bet this. I'm going to tell you exactly how much I'm betting, and we're going to really dive into the numbers and find out, because after seeing this now, I'm changing my course. I'm going to go a little off path and just stay away from player prop bets the rest of this year. And, a couple months from now, I'm going to revisit these numbers again and see how well we're doing. So appreciate you guys stopping by, and we'll catch you in the next video.